So there's a report that came out a couple days back that the Biden admin has okayed the use of these longer range ATACMS missiles that can strike deeper inside Russia, which obviously, if you're the Russians, and they've said as much, this is a huge provocation, this is a huge escalation. And why would Biden at this time be doing that? Well, they're saying this is a response to, North Korean troops being in the area, and this is to only be directed at the Kursk region where Ukraine launched a incursion into Russia. Was it back in August maybe? And Russia and supposedly these 10,000 or so North Korean troops are in that region, and these ATACMS will be used there, is what the West is saying, what the Biden admin is saying about this. But why would having the hypocrisy abounds? Why would having North Korean troops inside Russia, they're not in Ukraine, how would that change anything when we have all of these mercenaries from all kinds of different places fighting in Ukraine? And that's been happening, since basically the start of Russia's special military operation, as they call it. Is this also being done by the Biden admin? Because at least rhetorically, we'll see if anything happens concretely, at least rhetorically, Trump is saying that he wants to maybe wind down this war. He said he could get a agreement done very quickly once in office. What did he say? Like a day or a week, something like that, between Ukraine and Russia. But again, a lot of the people he is selecting for his cabinet are pretty big, Russophobes, pretty big anti-Russian, and they want to keep this war effort going. So again, there's a lot of contradictions that abound, and Trump, his first administration, showed he is no pro-peace candidate, and all of the picks that he has coming in are they're not pro-peace, they're pro-war, they're China hawks, they're largely in support of this proxy war, with a few exceptions from what I can tell. But again, this is a huge provocation, and the Russian side has said that if these are used, there will be immediate big consequences as a result. And as one of the spokespeople from the Russian side, this is basically pushing closer towards World War III. And I don't think they said that just for the shock value, but that's the actual reality of what the Biden administration just okayed for these U.S. weapons, these ATACMS that can, I think, 120, 180 kilometer range into Russian territory. That's pretty serious, and so it's fairly understandable why Russia would have such a response, and why they would retaliate in a very big way if this happens. Again, U.S. weapons, Biden's giving the green light for these to go pretty deep into Russian territory. Again, no matter the rationale or the reasoning for the Biden administration doing this, supposedly because the North Koreans are in Russia helping the Russians in whatever way that might be happening, or if it's to potentially just try to entangle the U.S. involvement further if Trump was supposed to try to adopt more of a diplomatic approach and not just sending bombs and weapons to Kiev, or some other reason or combination. But either way, huge escalation. And we should all be against this and advocating and organizing for a ceasefire and diplomacy and talks and de-escalation, because the consequences could not be more severe. Again, I don't think it was hyperbole when the Russian spokesperson was saying this is pushing the world closer to World War III, which would be the end of the world as we know it, because World War III in today's day and age would be a nuclear war, a nuclear holocaust. And that's something we should all want to prevent. But obviously the ruling class in the US and in the West more generally couldn't give a shit, which is pretty scary. Peace.